everyone probably has a story. No matter who you are, you're here for a purpose. It's like you're not gonna come here and be like, "Well, I don't know what to do. I don't have a purpose." No, like you came here for a reason. You're gonna have a purpose.
Welcome to the Recap Book Chat. We are a mother and daughter duo
conversing about books over a cup of joe.
seeking truth to help us glow.
Ready, set, let's grow!
Welcome back to the Recap Book Chat. Today we are diving into a wonderful story called Maniac Magee.
By Jerry Spinelli, written in 1990, and it won the Newbery Award in 1991. There you go.
This is one that you read to me when I was a kid. How did you first hear about this?
I think it was that Jim Trelease book, the Read Aloud Handbook. Or I do like to read the Newbery books, so it could have been both of them. So it is about heavy themes and some humor, but Jonah.
Yep.
What did you think about Maniac Magee? What's the theme, do you think?
I think the theme is never give up pretty much because out of all the times, because he could have just went off and just sat down because he's an orphan in this book. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a spoiler alert or not, but he's an orphan. So, and instead of just like saying, I can't do anything, I'm an orphan, he just.
That's right. He doesn't give up. Hey, have you read another book that's the main character's an orphan? Maybe a long time ago, your mom read you one? James and the Giant Peach. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that because his parents were killed suddenly in a tragic freak accident. So that kind of made me think of James and the Giant Peach. Of course, that's a fantasy. This is realistic fiction.
So his real name is not Maniac. So his real name is Jeffery Lionel Magee, and he is orphaned at the age of 3. And his parents die in this trolley accident, and he's sent to live with an aunt and uncle who they haven't spoken to each other in years. It's a rough environment. It's so bad that he ends up running away at the age of 11. And that's kind of where this book picks up. And he goes to this, I guess I would say, a racially divided town called Two Mills in
Which is an accurate name, don't you think? Two Mills, because there's the east side and the west side. And there's a lot of, that made me think of West Side Story. There's a lot of stories that have that division. It could be racial, could be like even in Jane Austen's time, the different classes of people. So there's, a story about division has this tension in it, a lot of tension.
You had said earlier, it's good to meet some of these things in books before you meet them in real life. And I think Maniac Magee is a great way to talk about racism. It's a great way to get into that topic because it does exist. Sometimes it is used as a political tool to divide us even further. I'll say that. But as far as actual real racism, that did take place in America, and we do need to talk about it. Okay. Let's go to roll call. Let's talk about the characters. So we mentioned the main character, who is who, Jonah?
Everyone calls him Maniac, but his real name is Jeffery Magee. Main characters would be Grayson.
Let's go with Amanda Beale. Don't you love Amanda Beale? Yes.
Who is Amanda Beale, Jonah?
She's on the other side of the end.
She's on the east side, which is where the black families are on the east side, and they call that the east end. The white families are on the west end. And there's this imaginary line that divides these two towns, and you're not supposed to cross. If you're on one side, you're supposed to stay there.
And everybody can see this line. Everybody can see this line, but Maniac cannot see the line.
That's right.
He's colorblind. But let's talk about Amanda Beale, who has a suitcase that she takes to school every day. Why does she do that, Jonah?
Oh, because her brother and sister like to call on them and like rip them up. So she has to carry her books from school and back. So because she'll just be at school, and when she gets back, her books are everywhere and torn up.
So, what kind of person would carry their books back and forth every single day? What kinda
Someone who
let's
really
think
likes
of
their books.
yeah, and what's the character trait? I'm trying to pull out a character trait here for you. What kind of person is she that would do that to her books? What is she doing to her books? And hold on to that, put a pin in that word, because someone that's protective, because later on that comes up and it's not about books. She protects someone else. And that is that's why she's a main character.
Yeah.
Now, look at the aunt and uncle. We can't name one thing that they're going to add to the story. But Amanda Beale's huge. I love her. I love Amanda Beale.
And her family. I mean,
Yes.
so we see Amanda Beale and her family, her mom and dad, and they take Maniac in through a little series of events. They take him in, and then he leaves again through another series of events, and that's how we come across what Jonah said, Grayson, an elderly man who works at the zoo. And you just love the interaction between Magee and Grayson.
Yeah.
How does Maniac help Grayson, Jonah?
He helps him by pretty much like shining a light in Grayson. Grayson is just like he's really negative at first, and then when Maniac comes, he kind of helps him get lighter.
And one way is how he teaches him something.
He teaches him how to read.
Do you love that? I love
Yeah.
that. Because I'm reading a book called The Secret Wishes of Mr. Murray McBride, and he is an old retired baseball player. And he meets this boy who's 10, and he's dying because his heart is bad. But they do the same thing that Grayson and Maniac did with each other. Like you said, he was kind of drowning in negativity, a purposeless life, and that's the same thing that happens with Mr. Murray McBride. It's beautiful. It pairs well with Maniac Magee. It's great.
When we were reading this, I was just wondering who did Maniac how did he learn to read?
Well, he went to school from age 3 to 11. He did go to school. So age 3 to 11, he went to school, and then there's kind of a missing year that they don't talk about. And so the book, he's 12 years old, but he knows how to read and he loves to read. But it's amazing that Grayson, who again is this elderly man, he used to be a baseball player, but never learned how to read. I love that Maniac loves to listen to Grayson's baseball stories. And Grayson's teaching him things about baseball too. And he's able to pass some of those things down. So they both end up teaching each other. And it's you love that story. And again, a series of events. He ends up leaving Grayson,
But
and
they celebrate Christmas together in such a beautiful that's so heartwarming. It is such a
it
beautiful
was his
story
best
there.
Christmas ever, is what
Yeah.
he said. I think both of theirs. They both had
Probably
the best
so.
Christmas ever.
And tell us about the other guy. What's his name? Hands. I think
Hands?
his name
Mars bars.
Mars
Mars
Bar, yeah.
bar. Not hands.
I'm sorry, that's another book. But,
Did I forget a character? Is there a character out
no,
there that I
Mars
forgot?
Bar. Tell us
Mars
about Mars Bar.
So he's kind of like your regular school bully, like he'll tease you and stuff like that. But then he acts like he wants everyone to think that he's scary and that like when you walk up to him, it feels like a prisoner or someone's just walking up. And he wants everyone to be really scared when he walks.
And Mars bars lives on the east side of town. He's on the east end. And he wants people to see him as the baddest brother around. And Maniac he's so fast. He can outrace, out hit
He can
anything.
outrace him backwards.
Yeah.
I know that's amazing, but I think there's a difference in John McNabb and Mars Bar. And I think Jeffrey sees that because John McNabb, I think he's the bully, and Maniac does not like bullies. I think that's because of his aunt and uncle. They were bullies to each other, but he does not. He shuts him down,
But it's
quick.
interesting because so John McNabb is the bully on the west end. And and Mars Bars is the bully on the East End. And Maniac has dealings with both of these, and again, through a series of events, he ends up staying with the McNabs. The McNabs, it's a bad home life. It it the dad is, drunk a lot, there's roaches everywhere, holes in the thing, and
But
there's
that
2.
is only because of Piper and Russell. That's why he's there.
That is why.
He's a self-sacrificing like, Maniac's not in it for himself. He's in it for Piper and Russell. Tell us about Cobble's Knot. What happened there?
So cobbled knot is pretty much maybe around like this big, and it's just all tangled up. You know, really huge, and it's all tangled up. And it's the prize of the if someone ties knot, the prize of it is they get like was it like a year or a month worth of pizza?
Year.
Free
Year,
free
yeah,
pizza
free.
for a year. And the Cobble's Knot it's been outside, and it was about the size of I pictured it like the size of a basketball or something. It's
Yeah,
huge.
probably.
And but all through the story, you also see another theme besides Amanda Beale being protective and being protective. You do see this theme of untying knots, that Maniac comes upon these problems, which we could say a knot is a problem, and he unties it like your shoelace. Nobody likes a knotted shoelace. You're like, "Oh, really?" But he, like, unties knots. Did you notice that about
Yeah,
Maniac?
I have to ask my mom and dad for that.
Yes. So that shows us patience that he has.
I
Patience.
have to joke a lot of the time. I was like, "We need Maniac Magee here."
And really, I feel like that is just kind of going into the themes and symbolisms. I feel like that knot is symbolic of the town. The town is in a mess. The town is this knot. And what Maniac does essentially is bring the town together. He he does untie this physical knot, but he unties so many other knots along the way. Every family he's with, he helps them.
Mhm.
And every person he comes across, he's is an untier of knots, essentially.
And that's basically how God wants us to be. We should wherever we go in life, we should leave it looking better and bring the light, and that's what Maniac does. It's beautiful, and I think he shows you he went from Grayson, who's an older man, and then he goes to these young whippersnappers, Piper and Russell, so he is not a respecter of race, nor is he a respecter of age.
No.
You know, that's like he does not have
Or financial
any.
standing. It's across yeah, that's what it is. Friendship and kindness,
To
f from
all.
to all, which is a great message.
And because of Maniac Magee, there's a book called Forge that is kinda like a truer story. It's historical fiction that I read because Maniac Magee spent the night at Valley Forge in these cabins that they built, these model cabins, and I wanted to know more about the story of George Washington's troops being at Valley Forge, so that's a great book too, but it's historical fiction, but have you ever read
I haven't.
Forge? Well, I know you've seen the movie.
Yeah, great movie.
It's
Speaking of
totally
movie,
different.
we did there was a made-for-TV Maniac Magee movie. Jonah, what did you think about it? We watched it and did a Venn diagram when we finished our book.
I see Jonah doing the hands down, the thumbs down.
Well, I wouldn't say all movies, but the usual. The book was better.
Yay,
Well, the book
hoorah.
was better.
Much better. They left Grayson out, didn't they?
Yes, yeah. Like we were so disappointed. Like Grayson's one of the main parts. He's like you don't even know what the stop ball is. You know, in the
Yeah.
movie. You know,
It was weird to me that they would, but, I've watched movies like that before and they leave out a character. You're like, "What? Did you even read the book? Did you read the book?" I mean,
I mean, I'll say they tried, but I feel like Maniac would be a hard person to get. I just didn't feel like the character really embodied the character in the book. Like, I just see he comes across as not like what well, he's very, like, scattered feeling in the movie. Very, like,
Mhm.
jumpy, almost But I feel in the book, I
Chaotic.
feel him as just very calm and
Yes.
no hurry. I mean, he does run everywhere, but he's not in a hurry. So
Yeah, it's kinda like he's moving because it's like, I have all these people to help, so I have to run from this help. I wanna help people. And I just as a side character, that the family of the Pickwells I thought was beautiful because they always set an extra place at the table, and, I an extra plate, and he just would land there and no questions were asked. I said, "I just saw this guy." His name's Jeremiah Farmer, if you like a country sounding voice, and he's showing you how to plant sweet potatoes and all that, and he talks like this, but he said, "Visiting. We used to do this when I was a kid. It would be visiting. You don't tell anybody you're coming, you just show up. And you go in and you visit with people. She brings you some iced tea." And that's how the Pickwells, I picture, they're just, you just drop in. And I
mhm.
think that's God talks. I mean, do you know the Hebrews were very big on hospitality? Huge. If you read the story of Abraham when he's visited by the three men angels, God, he overbakes because it's like that will, what the flour that he got will make 80 loaves of bread. I mean, he
Yeah.
is that's hospitality, and they said they still do that. They will give you everything. Like, if you show up with 50 people, they have 50 teacups they wanna serve. We
Wow.
don't do that, we lost that in America. We're like, "You didn't call. You should've called ahead."
Well, it kinda connects with Emma too, which that will be coming a podcast coming soon on Jane Austen's Emma, but they do that. They do the pop in. They're
Yeah,
just walking down the street, "You know what? Let's go check in on the Bates and see what they're doing."
and why not do that just to check on people? I think it's, as Barney Fife says, therapeutic. It is good to see someone. I mean, we're looking at each other face to face now, and I enjoy seeing Jonah's goofy expression that he's making. It's funny to just see someone. It'd be even better in person.
Agreed.
I have a quote. Here's my
Let's hear
quote.
it.
I am not asking you, I'm telling you. You are coming home with me. You're
Oh yeah.
you're and you're going to sleep in my room, which is going to be your room. And I don't care if you sleep on the floor or the windowsill, but you are not going to sleep here. You're not going to sleep. You are going to sleep there and not here. And I thought that was kind of protective. I'm not going to tell you whether he does it or not, but that's Amanda Beale because he's been sleeping with the buffalo or probably bison. And she is like telling him that you are in her bossy little voice. And so the girl at the beginning of the book, who was very protective of her books, is also protective of people, which I thought that was sweet. What's your quote, guys?
I think my quote's not good as yours, but it's a quote.
Well, quotes don't have a value. That was just the one that's I just loved her bossy little. Yeah.
Maniac, maniac, he's so cool. Maniac, maniac, don't go to school. Runs all night, runs all right. Maniac, maniac, kiss the bull. I guess he did kiss the bull. Yes, somewhere in the book, he tries to get Piper and Russell to stay in school, so he has to do all these things for them to stay in school.
It's true.
Yeah, they keep running away. He keeps finding them.
They
He
tried to run away.
initially, that's how he met Piper and Russell. They were running away. He brought them back, and that's what you were talking about when he stays with them. He keeps trying to get them to stay in school, and he's like, "If I do this, you have to go to school for another week." And yeah, one of those things was kissing a bull. I think in the movie it was a rhino or something, but he does all these stunts. Like there's a haunted house in the town, and he'll knock on the door or stand for 10 minutes to get all these different things. So he becomes a legend in the town.
He's
Both
fearless.
sides,
He's
yeah,
fearless.
both sides have heard of the legend of Maniac Magee.
And there was a part where, did you guys pull out when Maniac lied? He lied.
He did?
Yeah. He
When?
lied to Piper and Russell and said that John McNabb struck him out.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
for the
Why did he
stuffed
do that?
ball. Probably because, that one because, I think he was there's just some sort of afraid from, McNabb, and he wanted him to feel confident and, like, he wanted his brothers to look more up to probably his brother and not for him, maybe.
That's insightful. I think you're right, 'cause he felt bad for John, and, coming from the the place where John came from, he didn't get a lot of compliments, and so he has to self-promote himself, and then so his confidence is shaken when he's when he's pitching all these pitches to Maniac and
He's hitting them.
yeah, he's hitting them, and, everyone else he can strike out, and so but that was very kind of Maniac to try to give some respect back to John in front of his little brothers.
And in the process of that, you do see a glimpse, I think Jerry Spinelli showing you bullies are bullies because they're bullied, if that makes any
Mm.
Hurt
sense.
people hurt people.
Yes, very wise. And I think that, you that was from is it South Pacific, the song, "You've Got to Be Taught to Hate." And in the
Mm.
McNabb family, they're taught to be prejudiced. They're taught that. And it's very dysfunctional, neglected, and all that. But they're taught that, so you go out unless you rise above that, you know, and to be have that unpredictable, wild lifestyle. It's funny that they name him Maniac, which that's what Maniac can mean. I was like you, Kate. I thought him to be calm, not a
Mhm.
maniac,
No.
but I see the dysfunction in the McNabb family. That's mania right there. It's terrible. Yeah.
That's the most dysfunctional family in the book because they you're right, they don't just teach racism, they don't just teach them to hate the East Enders, they are actually building what would you call it? They call it a pillbox, but they have cinder blocks and all this. They're getting ready for an invasion, essentially, and they have it where they have gun slot holes, they're teaching the kids how to fire, and so really all based on a lie,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
fear. It's a lie and fear, and so we really need to learn from that, and what are we doing that's based on a lie or fear?
Mhm.
That
And
we
where do
have
we
just
get
something wrong.
our sense of identity? I think
Mm.
you can identify with that right there becomes your identity because they're working on it all the time. I remember a quote I heard from Morgan Freeman. He said, "Let's stop talking about how we're different and start talking about how we're alike." And I mean, that's to me is what Maniac
Yeah, that's
encompassed. I
what he
mean,
was trying to do.
yeah, we're alike. And this book on a child's level, on a kid level, an older kid, I wouldn't read it below probably uh 9. I think it's pretty mature, but you're talking about social inequality, homelessness, identity, search of belonging, racism. I mean, these are all pretty heavy topics, so you wouldn't want to go too low. It's not like Skinny Bones, which is another one that's funny. It's about baseball, but this one has funny parts. But it does, like Sis said, it hits on some pretty heavy topics in a way that is powerful.
Yeah.
So, what would what was one of your favorite parts, Jonah?
The Beale was taking him in because when he went there, they thought he was just visiting and he was gonna drive him home. He's like, someone already like, "We know who lives here," like, "We don't know that you live here," and then he finally tells him that, "I don't have a home," so then he drives back and then he takes him in.
That's where the Bills you just love the Bills' dad because, yeah, they think he's just a school friend, and the dad's taking him home, and what Maniac doesn't know is when he's like, "Oh, this is it," and he's lying, and Mr. Bill stops the car in front of his house. Mr. Bill's like, "This is the East End. There's no white families here." Like, so he knew he was lying, and he knew he didn't have anywhere, and so then they take him in, and, yeah, that's a good part. What about you, Nana? What was your favorite part?
It would be hard for me to go beyond. I loved Amanda Beale and the underlying theme that books take us places, but I also love Maniac teaching Grayson to read, like they're reading, what is it, The Little Engine That Could? That whole theme of, that reading takes you places and even in a hard situation, books bring people together, is what I would say. What about you?
I would have to say with Grayson too, there's just something about that. I mean, he's an elderly man, and he had kind of resigned himself just to live out the rest of his life alone. Nobody cared about him, and then to have this, it was a gift. Maniac was a gift to him in so many ways, but I love that Grayson was able to teach Maniac how to throw the stop ball. I thought, how cool is that? Just getting to pass that
The
down.
stop ball.
The stop ball?
Stop ball.
Yeah, where it goes, it's going, it looks normal, and then it kind of stops right at the
At the
plate.
plate, yeah.
Yeah, and drops. Such a good read. Thank you so much for reading it to me, and I'm so grateful I had the privilege and honor to read it to my boys. And Jonah, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Everybody has to have one.
Well, that's right.
Brave.
Brave, okay. Sis?
Kind.
That's a good one.
And I really wanna go with protect, 'cause, but I also, wanna go with love. But I don't know, 'cause Maniac he encompassed that love for others, you know,
Friendship. Yeah, it's the agape love.
like sacrificial love,
Yeah.
But, I may just go with protect because you're not gonna usually.
Resilience.
Yes, he was resilient.
Or
And
actually, mine could be legend.
no,
I can
kind, and yeah, I mean, it is, and he taught them. I remember somewhere in a movie, it was a man talking, and he said, you couldn't tame me, but you taught me."
that was Paul Newman.
Thank you. That's who I could in, Long Hot Summer. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It was so good because you can't tame Maniac, and nor would you want to, but he's teaching, and they taught him. Because
Mhm.
at one point, Maniac thinks that everywhere he goes, he brings trouble. So he
Yeah,
was
it's a lie.
believing a lie. Yes.
Yes. And that's what prevents him from staying in one place too long, is that
Mhm.
lie.
And that's why he's running. But at the end, you see that different thing. He's not running. He was actually running from himself. That's
Mm,
he's running from. And we often do that as well.
great
So,
point. Great
yeah.
point. I love that you pulled that out. Yes.
I'm gonna go. I guess I'll put mine as love. Because
Okay.
love or protect, and I don't know, but one of the two, you really protect what we love. I Man, thanks for reading with us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, that is a wrap on Maniac Magee.
Any last words, Jonah? Do kids your age, do you think they would like to read this book?
Definitely 10-year-old.
And what would they learn if they read this book?
Probably that everyone probably has a story. No matter who you are, you're here for a purpose. Yeah. It's not like you always have a purpose. It's like you're not gonna come here and be like, "Well, I don't know what to do. I don't have a purpose." No, like you came here for a reason. You're gonna have a purpose.
Jonah, that is so good. I love that thought. Well, we can't top that. But we want to say thank you to everybody for listening, and thank you,
Thank you,
Jonah
thank you, thank you, thank
and
you.
Sis, for sharing. And hope hopefully that you are reading this summer, getting your book stack ready, and let's connect.
To reflect.
Catch you on the next one.